So what we're going to probably be covering, let's actually see where we're at, and then we'll discuss what we're actually going to be covering. I kind of wanted to cover licensing at some point, so we might actually do that today. What I mean by licensing is, I mean using third-party content in your game that is not yours, but you have a license to. We're going to be using Creative Commons stuff probably as an example. Those would apply to any type of license like GPL and stuff. We're going to show how to organize this stuff and how to properly attribute things and how to take notes and keep this stuff together. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. I think that's appropriate. First off, let's look at what we've got though. So we're going to hit play. And right now we've got high score saving. It shows the high score at the beginning of the game. You hit a key to start, you move left and right, you dodge the things, and we've got a game going on here. You can move infinitely in any direction. The game continues to work no matter what. And actually we're going to have to make these things spawn at a wider range, considering we could just move infinitely this way, and it looks like we'll always get a high score. But yeah, we have a game here. We have these huge pillars, and if you hit them, boom, game over. And when you quit, it goes back to the title screen. This is our makeshift title screen for right now. So we have level flow between title screen and the game. We have a high score system. We have a score system. We have the previous score information being done through the singleton that we created for the game manager. It's all sorts of fun stuff. We are looking at the screen, right? And I do this all the time. I don't know why I distrust myself so much. What we're going to do first here is I think that we should... This is going to be risky on the YouTube side of things just because they like to detect things. I think we should add some music. Just get something in there, even if it's placeholder. I'd actually like to go over how to make music on the show, but I'm really not sure what the best tools are to show off, and I'm really not sure if that's the best use of our time either. But we might do it if we have time later in the episodes. For now, we're going to be using content that we can use without paying for it. We're not stealing any of this content. We're going to be using stuff that people have put out there that people can use, provided that they properly attribute the content. Specifically, we're going to be going to probably Incomtech, which I probably have... I'm not sure exactly if I pronounced that correctly, but there's this guy, I don't even know his name, but we'll find out in a few minutes here, that makes a lot of music that he puts out there, and all he cares about is Creative Commons attribution. You can actually pay for his content too, and then you don't have to attribute who made it, but it's used on a lot of indie titles and stuff, and he's got a variety of styles, and it's really cool that he has all this stuff out there. So let's take a look at it. So I'm going to see if I can find it. Incomtech. There we go. So this is his custom. It's Kevin MacLeod. That's awesome. So this guy has been doing music for a while. People end up using them on game competitions and stuff a lot of the times. I've used them on my own projects and on videos and stuff, just because he has so much stuff that's just free, and he has a variety of styles. And so now, it doesn't look like it from our game right now. Our game currently has this kind of like, I don't know, it has no style, really. But the style currently is what a game would look like if you put a single texture map that happened to be grass on the ground, and then a texture map that happened to be clouds in the sky, and called it good. What we're ultimately going to probably be doing style-wise with this, just because I'm not a great artist, we're going to be going with kind of an abstract style. This is already abstract, but I mean, like, probably something like inside the computer, grids and bright lights and that type of thing. We're going to be setting this up so that it's going to be all geometric primitives and stuff, so we might as well go old school with it. I like Tron, I like Spectre, I like a lot of older styles to cyberspace. So I think that's what we're going to end up theming this game after. So I want to get a music style that's appropriate to that. Though again, we may change this stuff around later. So let's check electronic, and let's go ahead and go with driving. That sounds good. And anything else that we like here? Mysterious could work, and action. So let's do a search. So the complex. Let's see what we got here. So I'm going to put this in the description of the show as well, but while it's live, all of this is from Incomtech.com. And his CC here. Wait, let's see where his. Actually, we'll talk about the licensing in a second. But basically, we're going to be licensing him in the YouTube stuff too, because you're going to be hearing this music on here. So let's see how this. We're going to play our game and play the music. That could work. Okay, so let's see what else we got here. Yeah, it doesn't have enough for me at the start. Nope. Yeah, the carnival sounds. I'm not really feeling that. All right, so I think we're just gonna go with the complex for right now, because I actually kind of liked the style that we were hearing with that. So I'm gonna download this song, and all music on this page is provided royalty free. This license is licensed under Creative Commons license. Additional licenses are available. So if we click this, so it's Creative Commons 3.0 unported. This is the license. And basically we could use this for anything as long as we give appropriate credit. So I need to actually find out what he wants for his license stuff here. So what do we do here? Music FAQ. Let's see. Actually, let's see music licenses. Give credit. If you'd like to include the full license for legal reasons, you can do the following. So this is the full license. All right, and as I said, you can buy licenses as well. So and honestly, if you want to not have to credit him, honestly, if I was buying from him, I'd probably be crediting him as well, because it's just great that this stuff is out there. But you can buy the license so that you don't even have to give credit. So but let's copy this over. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder called, we're going to call it Third Party. Third Party. And in this folder, we're going to create subfolders. So I'm going to create another folder called Music. We're going to do it by genre here. And then finally, we're going to create a subfolder in there called Incomptech.com. Incompetech. Okay, I misspelled it. Let me just make sure that we got this stuff right. Actually, I'm just going to call it Incomptech. Incomptech. And we're going to throw our freshly downloaded MP3 into here. So we're going to put title in here. The Complex. Alright, and while that is importing, or rather, not while, wait, why can't I get around? Oh, probably, okay, I think Unity's doing something weird. I suddenly can't slide around on my 3-finger gesture on the trackpad, so that was what was confusing me there. Oh, now it's working. Yay. So, this is called The Complex, that's good. We're going to go ahead and create a little README file in here. So create not C# script. Actually, I'm just going to right-click this and choose Reveal in Finder, and we're going to go ahead and make a text file, and we're going to call this The Complex. I'm going to put it in quotes, even though he doesn't have that in his example thing, just because it allows people to know that it's not his name. And I mean, I just think that it looks better when you have some definition for what the title is. So So here's our license. We're going to I'm going to save this, and we're going to save it into our Incomptech folder. And what we're going to call it is this is the complex CC 3.0 CC3 license. And I'm sure I misspelled license. Yes, I did mean license. Alright, so the complex CC3 license, and we're going to hit save. Alright. So, ironically, it did not actually make this a .txt file, even though... Oh, wait, it did. Or did it? Did I just add an extra txt and it... more info, name and extension. Alright, well, that's right. Okay, cool. So now we have this in here. If we go back to Unity and come back, you'll actually see that one more thing shows up. If we go back to Reveal and Finder, you'll see that it automatically generates a meta file. The meta file is probably not going to have a whole lot of information in it because you can't do much with text files. But now we know what we need to put in here. And this actually is a requirement that we show this somewhere in the game. And so we're going to be we're going to add it to the game. We're probably not going to have the license fulfilled on this episode, but we would need to put it in the credits somewhere. Actually, let's fulfill a license right now, just to be safe. We're not going to put it in credits. We're going to put it on the front screen for now, but we're going to make sure that he's mentioned in there now. So so let's just do this on the title screen. We're going to just grab all of these things and move them up a little bit. Again, we can do this as a little bit of a workaround. We can just grab all these, put them into a game object, and then slide that game object up. Oops, not all those. We want to slide the game object that they are children of, and nothing happens. Huh. It's fascinating. Oh. I put the camera in there too, so of course everything looked right. Okay, so let's move these separate of the camera, and we'll just move this up by 1 so that we have some space on the bottom, and then we can do a smaller one here. We can just use this one in the game for right now, and actually I'm going to add this to our information here. I guess it's going to open up MonoDevelop for text editing. That's fine. So, this is going to be called full license, small license, the complex. But I'm going to go ahead and put a by here as well. I like bylines. Main thing is to have the information there. So we're going to put this into our game here. So I'm going to save that, and we're going to do... what are you doing to me? Alright, so now we're just going to create another little text thing here. I'm going to go with the press start thing here. We're going to hit duplicate, that's Command D or Control D if you are on Windows, and we're going to call this music credit, and we're going to put this text in complex, and we are going to slide this down on the screen. -5 will be sufficient, and I'm going to go ahead and move all these things out of their container again, get rid of this thing, delete. So we're going to hit save scene, save project, and yes, so now let's actually add the music to the game. So I'm going to create... So the easiest way we can add it, actually, let's just do it the easy way first. We may add a music manager later if we have more music in the game later. But for right now, we're just going to have it play this music at all times. And the easiest way to do that at this point is we already have a singleton for the game object, the game manager. We don't have one in the scene right now, but we can make one real quick. So let's just create a game manager. So we're going to create a empty game object, and we're going to call this game manager, and we're going to throw in where is it? Scripts game manager on here. And yeah, we're definitely going to have to do this a different way at some point. But that's fine. We want to get it working first. So we've got the game manager on here. And the reason I'm doing this is because the game manager is set up so that it does not destroy itself between levels. So if we just attach the complex on here, and it says this is a 3D sound, we actually don't want that. So we're going to go to the complex, and we're going to change it so that it is a 2D sound. And hit apply. And it will have to do a re-import step on this. While this is going, I think I'm going to see if we have any comments on our video. And I'm also going to change some of the settings real quick. I'm just going to go in here and actually say what we're working on. We're going to call this licenses. It doesn't need an exclamation point. And in this episode, we explain how to use and license content inside your game and in other places, like right here. Music played on the show is copyright Kevin Mick. There we go. And used under the CC 3.0 unported license. Thanks, Kevin. You rock. Alright, so we're going to save this, and we're going to go ahead and check the comments like I said I was going to do, just because I probably should, even though it's probably done importing at this point. So,
the game.
Stop talking. Oh, internal server error, no! Okay, there we go. So, first episode I'm able to catch live, can't wait, hopefully we won't disappoint. Author withheld. 2D stuff in this series. There's going to be a small amount of 2D stuff, but I'm sorry that we're doing a 3D game for this, but we're doing a 3D game for this. Learned so much in the past few hours, half of it thanks to CWU. Thank you. The game you're working on should be called Sprouting Pillar, since the pillar come from the ground. I like that. He's probably doing more than just this game to show everything. Maybe he will show 2D stuff. I will be showing a little bit. Don't hold your breath. I'm going to be putting some sprites in the game. It's kind of different between... There's a big difference between making a 2D game and putting some sprites in a 3D game. Pillars of cool fantasy name here. The Rise of the Dark Pillar. I will support. Awesome. Thank you for your support. Slowing down the scaling time as it gets closer. See how that looks. I think that there's a lot of things we could do to make this thing look better. Widening the pillar the further you go along. Yeah, possibly. Slowing the growth of the pillars. Does it keep buffering? Oh, it keeps buffering. Well, I just got a 500 server error from YouTube, so I'm going to blame them. If things go really badly with the saved file, I do save these files locally as well, so I can re-upload it. We'll lose the comments in that case, but don't worry, I've got backup strategies if YouTube decides to destroy everything that I try to create. Pillars coming out of the ground should be massive glowing neon lights. Noted. We are definitely going to be doing some cool stuff with that later. Everything seems to be good now. Yay. Okay, well, I guess I should have read that first. Anyway, so people are excited. That's cool. Thank you for supporting. If you've supported, I really appreciate it. We need that. I really want that thing to go through. I would love to be able to work on that project. It's just such a good project. So we've attached this to our game manager. We set it to a 2D sound. The reason I did that is because we don't want positional data to affect the sound. This is a stereo song. We want it to just play out as a stereo song. And so we've changed it to a 2D sound, and so it will play at full volume. So if we hit play now, we have the music, and we start playing, and it works. That's awesome. We just added music to our game, and our game feels a little bit more like something that's happening, so that's good. And all we had to do was add a little text to it. Isn't that nice? Alright, so let's go ahead and check in what we've got so far. We're going to go into source tree, and we're going to have to do a little upload on this one because music. And we're going to just put this on here. We're going to call this music added to game. Yeah, we've given enough credits everywhere. Incompetech is awesome. Kevin MacLeod is awesome. So, while this is committing, hopefully it won't affect the upload, but I don't fully trust it, so I may just let this thing go and not talk about anything super important while it's going. I'm going to just see about our comments a little bit more. Just see. Oh, yep, another 500 internal server error. As I said, I'm thinking that YouTube is having a bad day. Alright. Been fine for a solid 10 minutes. You're awesome. You're awesome. Thank you for watching. Alright, so we've got some music going on. So the reason it just worked is when you drag a music file onto an object, the default settings are play on awake. And awake, so this is one of these things where it sounds strange because you'd think that it would say play on start. In the old days, Unity actually used awake and update, and then they kind of started using start, but they have both. Awake actually happens before start, and then start happens, and then update happens every frame. So awake is like the moment the object is ready to go, awake gets called. And play on awake, if you have this checked, means that it will just start playing itself the moment that the object is instantiated. So when we hit play here, our music plays. We didn't have to do anything special to do that, that just happens. We've got some adjustments on here. We can adjust pitch and volume. Pitch is always fun because, now, pitch is actually not a pitch adjustment, though it does do that. It's a speed adjustment. It just speeds everything up. I can't go higher than 3. We can get some inception going if we turn it down way low. Yeah. That's awesome. So, is this done? It's done, yay. Okay, so now we can actually get back to the job at hand. So, the thing is, if you're testing and you don't want to hear the music for whatever reason, you can just click this thing and disable your audio source, and then everything will stop playing the music. And you can just still have it there. I'm probably going to do that for right now just because I don't want to have to talk over music a lot. But I wanted to get the music in there because when we test the game, it's amazing what sound does to a game, because you can be working on something and think it's terrible, and as soon as you add a soundtrack to it, or as soon as you add sound effects to it, it becomes great. It's one of these things that we don't really think about as a really intangible thing, but if you are playing your game and you think it's terrible and you have not added sound yet, add sound, then see how you feel. We're going to be doing a little bit more licensed stuff, though, than just that. What I want to do is I want to actually properly license these files that I've been putting up on the servers. I've been allowing you guys to download them, and I didn't actually implicitly say what license these files are under. So we're going to use a license of our own. So I'm going to go ahead and use Creative Commons because I really like Creative Commons. They're one of my favorite licensing companies or groups or whatever. They just have really good stuff. It's really free and open stuff that you can use. There's other license options. There's GNU. I really don't like GNU because GNU kind of requires you to, like, if you change something, they want you to, like, show exactly what you changed. And they don't want you, like, if you need to reshare things as soon as you start using it. Even you can use it commercially, but you have to, like, reshare all the stuff that you do. It's really kind of a restrictive license. And then there's like the MIT's Free Software Foundation license. That license is great, except for that it's pretty much only used for software. It's not really worded in a way for stuff that is not software. So it's really great if you're trying to license source code or something, but it's not so great if you're trying to license, say, music or a bunch of files or a game. So Creative Commons kind of has like everything that I want in a license. So we're gonna go into we're gonna go licenses here, and we're gonna do choose a license. They have this nice little menu here to help you choose things. So, allow adaptations of your work to be shared. So, this is what they default to yes and yes, which is awesome, and that's what we're going to use. But if you say no, that means that someone can't make derivative work based on what you put on here. People can use it to do things as long as they attribute you, but they can't like make another thing, which this one's really restrictive. That's really harsh to do, but you know, like if for instance, actually, it technically broken the license because I had modified his content. So this is really restrictive. This is like I was talking about with GNU. You can do it through Creative Commons as well. You can make it so that people can share stuff, but people can change stuff, but if they change it, they have to share it. It has to go back into the public domain. And I actually think that's really restrictive. I think that's kind of harsh to actually require people to do. It's fine if you want to do it. I'm not dissing you if you use these licenses. I'm just saying for my own personal use, what I like to do is yes and yes. I want people to be able to use it for whatever. They also have other licenses other than the ones you can do from this chooser. One of the big ones is CC0. This is the one I've mentioned at the beginning of each of these shows. CC0 is effectively public domain. There are no requirements of any kind. You can just use the content. You don't have to say who it's from or what website it's from or whatever. And I'm not going to be using that for our content yet, but if we get enough money on the Vanguard V, it will go under CC0. But for right now, we're going to be using Attribution 4.0 International. If this had happened several months ago, it probably would have been Attribution 3.0 unported because they have a new version now, evidently. So, help others attribute you. What does this do? Testing. Oh, I see. It creates a little CC by. That's really cool. We're not going to use that. I'm going to go ahead and see the license here, because I like to be able to link to it. So, this is human readable. The actual license, if you are curious about what actually goes into it, this is the full verbiage of the license. So you should probably go through and check if you actually agree with everything here. But basically, this is the legalese that tries to protect and put your stuff into public release. But this is the rundown: is people can share it and copy it in any medium or format, and they can remix, transform, and build upon the material for any purpose, including commercially. That's what we've decided on, or what I've decided on here. Again, you can decide other things for your own content, but not for my content. So I'm going to create... Actually, we're going to put this in the README file. So that is outside of Unity. Let's go ahead and go into our Make a Game Now folder, and in our documents we have this... wait, no, not in documents. We have this readme.md file. This was generated by GitHub, but we're going to use this for describing things. So I'm going to put here all content in this repo, unless with the exception of the third party and standard assets. Standard assets, third party, and standard assets folder. Folders is copyright is actually, let's do the copyright symbol. How do I do that? I think is it P? No, O, I. It's one of these. Where is it? I would think that I would have found one of those. Oh wait, I did find it. I just didn't see it because it's so small, I think. There it is. Oh yeah, that's right. It's, yeah, Command G for some reason. I mean, Option G. If you're on Windows, it's some alt something 05. I don't know. You'll look it up in the keyboard map. So 2014, Maximilian Moreau. It is usable under the Creative Commons. It is licensed. I should say licensed. It is licensed under the Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International License. If you use this content, in your own projects, please give credit. Please give credit to Maximilian Moreau. www.cookingwithunity.com. And that's really kind of all I care about to have in there. Let's just see what else we could have asked. Source work URL, more permissions URL, attribute work to URL, attribute work to name. So yeah, we've attributed it to my name and to a URL. That's fine. Please give credit to Maximilian with Unity.com. Thank you. Well, let's put that in two places. Save. And let's go ahead and upload this to our project. And let's see how that looks on GitHub. So you had this license as far as I'm concerned before, so you can use this stuff. And honestly, if you're using like some of the one-line scripts, I mean, I don't even know how I could really claim those because how else are you going to do it? Software patents make me sick. So we're going to check actually, we don't need to check it. So it shows right here. We're going to make a game from start to publish from scratch, cookingwithunity.com. All content in this repo with the exception of third-party. Okay, so we got some problem here. It looks like they're using Markdown here, which means that when you just hit a single enter, you can't get you get things on the same line. I'm going to go ahead and... Actually, I'm going to go ahead and grab this line too. I like that line. We're going to open this back up. And we're going to actually change what it actually is by attribution 4.0 international. And save my spelling error. Terrible speller, evidently. And what else? Oh yeah, we wanted to actually space this out because for some reason they're using Markdown, and Markdown makes this kind of hard. Save. And we're gonna upload this one more time. Commit, push, spelling, and lines. Wow, it's taking a long time for a text file. Alright. We hit refresh on this, and through the magic of the internet, it's there. God, I wish I could group that together a little bit tighter. Hold on, let's see. Markdown, because I know that's what they're using. Single line space. Let's see where you go. What's the reason for the top secret 2-space new line? Markdown a BR is inserted if you end the line with a double space. Alright, so let's see if this cryptic information can help us. So what we're going to do is we're going to put all these here, but then we're going to put a double space at the end of each of these, if that's actually what they're saying. And we're going to upload this, and I just want to see how this looks. Commit. Testing markdown stuff. Sometimes you get to learn. Sometimes I get to learn things on these shows because I get annoyed at quality control. Refresh. That worked. Okay, yay. So, pro tip: if you're using Markdown, Reddit uses Markdown. A lot of your spacing and do it nicely. So there we go. That's how you do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and quit text edit. And what else are we gonna do? What do we got going on? I'm gonna refresh here and see what we got going on. Will there become some kind of boss pillar? Please, yes. Oh, we should have a boss. I've been thinking more and more about this game, and I've been thinking, especially if we put a sprite of a dude running, it's going to be... I kept saying Space Harrier, but it's honestly going to be more like World Runner, so I kind of want to put a jump in there, and yeah, I kind of want a boss would be fun. I like bosses. You've piqued my interest. I love bosses. 17 viewers, that's got to be a record. Probably, actually. That's pretty awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for donating. Seriously, Judah. That's freaking awesome. I know that you've been watching for a while, and I really appreciate it. Started getting interested in programming when watching a Unity 3D YouTube tutorial, Bergzerg Arcade. I don't think I've seen them. I should actually check them out. And I've obtained my first degree in programming and analysis, all thanks to videos like these. Awesome! That's great to hear, Sigma. That's super awesome. So got 20 minutes left if we want to do the full hour. We called it licenses. Is there anything else that's really useful in the licensing thing? I kind of gave a rundown of other licenses, but the concept is the same on all of them, and you can find a lot of good information online. So I don't think there's much benefit to actually going through other licenses directly. And we'll probably run into some when we're working with other content as well. What are we going to... Alright. Let's make the game a little bit more techy to fit with the music that we've just added in there. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to finish this off with just some very light graphics work. No. Yeah, because that requires... I didn't get GIMP installed yet. We'll do graphics work on the next episode. I think I'm going to call it here. We will... I'm not sure what we're going to be doing on the next episode. We'll either be doing some graphics stuff, or we'll be doing some more registration stuff for development, probably Windows Store, but maybe BlackBerry. I'm not sure if I'm ready to do Windows Store, and I actually kind of want to do that on a Windows-type environment. I found out today that that we can't actually deploy to Windows Store, Windows Phone, or PlayStation Mobile without PC. Don't despair. We will be showing that side, so you'll get to see some PC toolchain stuff too. So yeah, I'm going to call this a wrap. Thank you for watching, and